Hello there, it's Kasim with Solutions 8 here with your daily Google News, and some of our subscribers have asked for Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotional ideas, and lucky for them, I already have a presentation in the can because I just did a talk on this topic at my buddy's event. Shout out to Scott Cunningham at Socialite. His event was Merchant Mastery. It was in San Diego. It was awesome. Had a blast, and I'm just going to repurpose content, and nobody can hate me because you haven't seen it. So here we go. Using Google Ads for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm going to go quick. And some of this is going to be repetitive if you've been long-time subscribers, so just forgive me and bear with me. Number one, run smart shopping. And here's why I'm saying that. I know that we hit smart shopping a lot, especially for our e-com clients, but Google has built in logic that identifies peaks and valleys in terms of purchase behavior. So Google knows about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And you want to make sure you're running smart shopping early because you can say, hey, Google, here's my product. Here are the people that buy my product. And now Google's going to look at its inventory of those people, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday start to identify who's ready to buy. And remember, Google is reading emails, which I think ends up, I have no way to prove this, obviously, but my opinion is that ends up being a really important catalyst from a BFCM perspective in Google's eyes. BFCM, by the way, is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and I only learned this from Scott. Because people are getting all these promotions in their emails, and so if Google's seeing somebody engage with a product via email, it can push that product in front of that person. But it's only going to do that if you're using something akin to smart shopping, because you want to make sure that you're giving Google the ability to utilize machine learning on your behalf. So if you're not running smart shopping, you need to, and you need to soon. Optimize your feed. Titles, description, app, you know what a feed is. What's interesting is you can use BFCM tags inside of your titles. I'd be a little cautious with this, especially if you don't have GTIN codes, which we're going to talk about. But I'd be a little cautious with this because it cuts both ways. So yes, you could potentially get a product prioritized if somebody, is there like, men's well, it's Black Friday deal. That could be in your title, but you could also end up hurting the placement of that product post Black Friday, even if you make the adjustment just in terms of Google's like, all right, we got to learn this new thing now. If you're not using GTIN codes, you're going to have a tough time changing product titles because you're basically going to reset the learning every single time. And if you're not using GTIN codes, I've got a ton of videos on why you need to use GTIN codes. You go find them. They're important. Lifestyle images. You need lifestyle images. I'm going to look at you here for a minute. Let me expand my face. Y'all, this is important. I know it's one of those things that we harp on a lot, and part of that is just the fact that I'm a content creator and I need things to say. But really, most of it is the fact that lifestyle images are so important. And I know that you already have a laundry list of things to do, and you're never going to be able to get to all of them because you have all these idiot gurus like me running around telling you all the things that you need to do. Lifestyle images, they truly are one of those things that's worth plucking out of that long to-do list and bringing all the way to the tippity top. I know they're a pain in the ass, but there's a ton of folks out there that want to help you with that. Various services done for you. Some of them are expensive, white gloves. Some of them are actually really accessible and cheap. Sometimes you can actually get free images out of like influencers and stuff by sending them free products. Or you can go to Fiverr and send people products and they'll, My point is this is not an insurmountable problem. And lifestyle images are going to change your marketing life because especially with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Think about it. You have to fit within somebody's budget, and they're actively shopping for products. And I don't mean fit in their budget in that, like, I've got, a $20 budget for these glasses. I mean, they have a budget of like, I've got $500 that I'm going to spend during Black Friday. I've got $1,000 or $10,000 or $100 or whatever. And now they're going to go decide all of the things that they fit into that envelope, budgetarily speaking. And in order to do that, you need to be in front of them often because they're out on the prowl. We've all seen the Walmart videos, right, of people that are shopping at Black Friday. Like they're doing that, with the same fervor via the internet. And so you want to make sure that you're relying on remarketing, display-based marketing actively. And a picture of these glasses stand alone, there's nothing compelling about that. Like nobody cares. But if you go and you put these on a 30-year-old female Caucasian brunette who's attractive, smiling, and making eye contact, which is the highest performing avatar across all industries, by the way, which I know is racist, sexist, and ageist, but that's just what we've all decided we like the most. People using your products is what helps push your display campaigns over the top. It makes them work. Go get yourself lifestyle images. Not just for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's probably too late. I mean, if you can pull it off, that's great. But I don't know. It's not too late. I don't mean that. I just mean to be a hard endeavor to pull off for some people depending on how many SKUs they have. I shouldn't have said that. But make it happen. Make it happen. Get your campaigns up and running in advance. I'm talking to you, my clients. If any of you emails us 48 hours before Black Friday, Happy Thanksgiving. We want to run a Black Friday promotion. The answer is no. The answer is do it yourself. Find another agency. A, well, I'm not going to put my employees through that. B, it's not going to work. You need the campaigns up in advance. You need to make sure that you've actually defined a strategy in advance. You want to. I know it's a day that you're targeting, or maybe really a weekend if you think about it, because BFCM kind of spans that whole period. But it's okay to begin planting the seeds early and often, and you want to warm up your audience. One really cool thing is Google will prioritize. Is it prioritize the right word? Google will highlight price drops. And you see that often. And they'll do this, by the way. You could be running it, let's say that Best Buy was running this product at $40 and all of a sudden they dropped it to $24.99. Now Google's like, hey, check this out. This thing that was $39.99 is now $24.99. Those little changes make really substantial differences from a CTR perspective and conversion perspective. But you're going to have a greater likelihood of Google showing that discount if you've run it standard retail for 14 days. So going back, and I think that becomes less and less true if you're a more trusted retailer. You'll notice that the two that are showing here really, they're big companies, Best Buy and Target. But if you run it standard retail, so let's say Target's running at $49, if you run it standard retail for 14 days and then drop to $24.99, you're more likely it's more likely that Google shows the discount. Than if you started yesterday and then dropped, and then Google's not necessarily going to show it, but they get to decide what it is that they highlight and what they don't, obviously. Use seasonality adjustments. This isn't as mission critical as it once was because Google, I think, understands Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That said, don't take any chances. You need to go into the Google Ads dashboard. This is really easy to do. And let Google know, hey, just so you know, the massive conversion spike that we're going to see on the heels of Black Friday, Cyber Monday is an anomaly. Please don't make, big, broad, sweeping changes across my entire campaign based solely off of that. So this is a risk mitigation tool, and it's really worth using. I've got a whole video on seasonality adjustments if you want to go hunt it down. Prioritize the right audience. Maybe a new audience? You have to ask yourself for BFCM what it is that you want to go after. And what's really cool is inside the Google Ads dashboard, we've got a video on this too, but you can actually increase the value of a new customer. This is important because in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday world, most of the merchants that I know want to go after new customers. That's why you're discounting things so obscenely. Because some of the discounts that y'all run are insane, right? I mean, you're breaking even, you're running at a loss, it's customer acquisition. You don't want to give that to an existing customer. As a matter of fact, a lot of Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotions are for new customers only. So go let Google know, hey, bro, a new customer is worth more to me so that you can get your traffic pattern aligned. And you get to decide what the numbers are there. Obviously, it's going to depend on the lifetime value of your customer, which is a number that I hope you know. Write your ads oily. This goes on with, building your campaigns early. But you need to know what your strategy is. And make sure you have sign off from all stakeholders. We get this a lot from clients, and I understand why, just because there's some, things that happen last minute, inventory concerns, trying to figure out whether or not fulfillment's even possible. And we end up having to, change terms, alter promotions, those types of things. It makes it difficult. Just from a management standpoint, it makes it difficult. So, making sure that you get your ad copy done, and, all of your assets, obviously. Getting all your assets in place early just makes it easier on your ad manager. You can tell that I'm a little jaded, and this is really more for me than for anybody else. A couple of notes is make sure you increase your budget, and you'll notice that we have a note here. Assume at least a 20% increase in overall budget from last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And so take last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, find the high water mark, add 20% to that. You want to make sure you don't run out of ramp. And you want to run at this new level for 30 days prior to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is important because you need to be able to give Google the room to breathe. And you also don't want to be another one of the retailers that's jumping into the ecosystem saying, Google, give me more traffic in these last 72 hours or whatever. If you begin running at the increased budget early, Google's going to look at you as one of the advertisers in its stable that is at that budget. If all of a sudden you try to boost the budget and beg for the inventory, if Google's low inventory, it's going to prioritize the advertisers that have been running at that rate longer. So the longer the better, but if you can't afford it for, in perpetuity, then at least 30 days in advance, make sure that you increase your budget accordingly. Smart display campaigns have settings between standard and aggressive targeting. Make sure you're using aggressive, obviously. You might recognize this. Google used to have kind of similar settings instead of standard search campaigns that's no longer available or accessible in the same way, but we can do that instead of our smart display campaigns. Prioritize mobile. I usually don't like device-based adjustments because I actually trust the machine to make those adjustments for us, to be frank. But Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I don't think Google does a good enough job at veering mobile as maybe it should, especially for new customer acquisition. So new customer acquisition, that's where people may potentially go play. And you'll notice that we've got some solid data. Over 70% of all BFCM purchases are going to be on mobile devices. Use smart bidding. Here's the thing. I'm not against manual bidding, as y'all know. I miss manual bidding with everything inside of me. You're not going to be able to keep up. Nobody is. So use smart bidding, let Google go do what Google wants to do. And I think that there's more than adequate data to suggest that Google prioritizes smart bidding outside of just being algorithmically stronger. I think that Google is rewarding people that are on smart bidding settings, which would make sense. I stole these screenshots, by the way, from somebody else. So if you're who I stole them from, thank you. Promotion extensions. So you can use your BFCM tags instead of promotion extensions. Do it. You can do it in all extensions, by the way. Here's a really good use of scarcity. Incidentally, I like the date ranges, obviously, so you can show the timeline for the promotion. And extensions help you expand the size of your ads. So make sure to do that. Some additional tips. Add promotions to your site link extensions. By the way, y'all, you don't use site link extensions enough. And I know that because we don't use site link extensions enough. Like, they're the gold standard of all things extensions. And you need to have all the extensions all the time. But people don't update their site link extensions. And this is a good example of where you can and should. Make sure you add, BFCM tags to your ad copy, obviously, with responsive ad. I think that is something that you might want to anchor depending on how well Google's going to cycle through what works and what doesn't. If you have a bigger spend, it's more likely that Google identifies the BFCM copy that works for you. If you don't, you might want to anchor some of those just to make sure that they're definitely showing up. And if you don't want to know what I mean by that, by the way, sorry, responsive display ads give you the opportunity to take certain, you're giving Google, a box of text that they can use in any order they want, effectively. But what you can do is say, hey, you definitely need to use this one, and it's a little push pin icon. Include specific products you run promotions for in your site links, which makes sense. Kind of going back to the site link extensions. Urgency. You got to play on scarcity. That's the whole. I know a lot of you don't like scarcity, by the way, because it feels low integrity. I don't disagree with you. Think about your shopper. The BFCM crowd. Like, this is the epitome of scarcity. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's what they're there for. You have to play the game or don't play. So make sure there's a sense of urgency. Make sure they know this deal's going away. And by the way, make the deal actually go away. Don't be one of those people that tries to prolong it and squeeze out just a little bit more profitability. You will make more money this year, but you're going to hurt your reputation. Increase the likelihood of buyer's remorse, returns, those types of things. Like, just stick to your word. I didn't mean for that to sound as preachy as it did. I'm sorry. Use responsive search ads. You're not going to have a choice at some point, but Google's going to be able to split test on your behalf. I wouldn't mind you pinning some things that seem to be ultra applicable. Oh, image extensions, which Google is now automating. Idiots. But appropriately themed image extensions. So there's a season here that you get to play into. Countdowns and inventory references are awesome, and there's some extensions and insertions that you can use. Now this is a really important tip here. Don't schedule an end date. I know you're like, hey, the promotion ends Friday. It ends Monday at midnight or whatever. My experience has been that if you have an end date in your campaign, Google deprioritizes your accounts because it wants to help the advertisers that it thinks are going to be evergreen. So just set an alarm for yourself. Wake up and pause your campaigns. I know that sounds really conspiracy theory-esque, but I'm telling you, I've seen it. What are we doing? Target your key audiences. So now this is old school, but it's still important. You can use past remarketing lists, custom audiences, like who bought from you prior to, and do you want to go get back in front of them? If somebody bought one of your deals in the past, they'll probably buy a deal this year. Now, again, you might say like, hey, I want to prioritize new audiences. It's up to you and your strategy. You can increase bids for returning users using RLSA, which is remarketing list or search ads. We have videos on that. make sure that your remarketing campaigns are well funded. You don't want to run out of remarketing spend in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday epoch. And then, of course, you can use in-market and affiliated audiences depending on whether or not that works for you. If it doesn't work outside of BFCM, it doesn't. You would have to know why that context change would make a difference. But if it does work for you, then it might work better, actually. And those are all my slides. So I did it! Black Friday, Cyber Monday, pro tips, hacks, tricks, etc. And by the way, I don't know everything, so I'd love to know what you do. Like if you're running ads, Google's a tough ecosystem for BFCM because it's so intent-based. And I realize, display and discovery and YouTube and all those things fall outside of that. But, we view it as intent-based, and Google's looking for, ongoing, evergreen, perpetual spend. And so they don't really make promotions super easy. They're like, here's this little promotion extension for you, and you get to use that anytime you want, slugger. But like the great big pushes that you get to do in some other networks, they're not as readily accessible inside of Google. Even I see a bunch of the YouTube marketers who, by the way, y'all, where the hell did these people come from? They know nothing. Everything they say is wrong. Some of these YouTube marketers are talking about using YouTube. And YouTube the starts and stops doesn't play well inside of YouTube. Unless they know something I don't, and they don't. Here's how you know that, by the way. They don't run ads for people professionally. The ones that do, God bless them, good for them. Go hire them, see if they can actually pull off the stuff they're saying. But so many of these educators, go try to hire them and see what they say. Like, oh, no, we're not accepting new clients. Or, oh, no, we grew out of that. It's like, yeah, you didn't know what the hell you were doing. Those who can't do teach. Which is funny because I'm teaching. So that was it. Sorry to get snippy there at the end. It's late in the day for me, but I appreciate y'all. Those of you that are asking questions and commenting and those things, grateful to you just for being around. I shoot a video every day. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all mañana. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day, so if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.